There have been a ton of LEGO Castle Collectible Minifigures, so I thought it'd be fun to rank every single one of them. We're going to be going from oldest to newest, starting first with Series 1 we have the Forest Man. This fig came out all the way back in 2010 and was a modern reimagining of the classic Forest Man figures. I think LEGO did a great job at touching up some of those torso details, and to be honest with you, I think he looks even better than the ones we got a decade later in the Lion Knight's Castle set. This is a great looking fig, so I'll place him in B tier. Next up, we have a more historical looking character in the Spartan Warrior from Series 2. Now, I'm not much of an ancient Greece guy, so I don't really care about the accuracy of a LEGO Spartan, but I really do love this helmet. It only ever came in 2 sets, and it's such a cool mold, especially for the time that it released in. As for the rest of the fig, it's okay, but nothing that interesting to me, so I'll put him in C tier. Next up, we've got an elf from Series 3. Okay, look, the level of detail on this guy is straight up bonkers. Even when you compare him to some modern CMFs, he just looks unreal. The torso design continuing onto the legs and belt is seamless, and he's a great example of how the collectible minifig series has been putting out some of the best prints from the very beginning. The unique hairpiece as well, I mean, this fig is basically everything you want out of a CMF. Look at the shield, I mean, come on, this is an amazing figure. I wish I bought this fig when he was more affordable, because he goes for like over $40 nowadays at the minimum here in the US. And I know it's early to do this in the video, but the Series 3 elf is going straight into the S tier immediately. Now moving into Series 4, we have the first ever CMF Viking. The chainmail and fur design in this character is again just top notch for 2011, and he blends together beautifully with some of the newest minifigure prints made today. If I had to nitpick anything, I'd say the legs are maybe a little bit plain looking. Not bad by any means, but I feel like the printing here is just a little bit underdeveloped compared to how complex the rest of the figure is. Speaking of, the faceprint and shield are both really nice, and they make for a lovely start to any custom Viking character. For me, the Series 4 Viking belongs in A tier. Next, we've got a couple of figs from Series 5. The Gladiator is a bit of a strange one. He's got this giant helmet that I think looks way too oversized for the proportions of a minifigure, and frankly, it ruins the overall look to me. The prints underneath are good, but nothing that special apart from this pretty sweet looking torso. And the accessories are about as basic as it gets, so I'm gonna put him in D tier. Similarly, the Evil Dwarf has a lot of great individual pieces, like this winged helmet and the torso prints, but as a full character, he just doesn't do it for me. The dark colors all kind of mush together, and most of the printing is covered up by this giant beard. Again, this guy's got a couple of sweet parts, but they make up a pretty undesirable looking figure. I'll put him above the Gladiator in C tier, as I think he's got the slight edge on him. Moving into Series 6, we've got another 3 figs. The Highland Battler is fairly unique in its theming, and it gave us a great tartan print that goes from the torso to the legs. This is another fig that I'm fairly biased towards, I think, similar to the Series 4 Viking, as I've got a few of these guys in my collection. He's got some great parts for making customs, and that's one of the main reasons I like this fig so much. He's probably getting propped up by a little bit of nostalgia here as well, so for that, I'm gonna put him in B tier. Next up, we've got the Minotaur. Now, LEGO's always riding that goofy to cool line with its designs, and I think the Minotaur lands a little too far on the goofy end of the spectrum for me. The mold is pretty intricate, but it doesn't look that great in my opinion. It's kind of messy, I don't know. I could see myself maybe liking this figure more if I had it in person, but I don't know. He looks pretty bad, so I'm gonna put him down into the depths of F tier. The last figure of Series 6 that we've got to look at is this Roman soldier. I actually have this figure in my collection, but I've never really liked it that much. I know this is a dangerous thing to say, but I don't care about the Roman Empire, like not even a little bit. So a LEGO Roman soldier just isn't something that I'm personally into. I've never understood the fascination that people have with the Roman Empire, so maybe that's what I'm missing with this figure, but it just looks like okay to me. I could take it or leave it, so he'll go into D tier. Next up, we've got Series 7 and the Ocean King. I chose to include him for the same reasons that I included the Minotaur. He's a mythical creature person that I thought fit the theming of Castle pretty decently. As for the figure itself, I love the sand green coloring on him, and the crown piece is one of my favorite molds from Series 7. The white flowing hair and unique crown style just looks incredible, so I'm gonna put the Ocean King in C tier. Next up, we have the Viking woman. There is a lot to like about this fig. We rarely get medieval skirt prints, so this one is a great option for making custom Viking women, and so is the torso. Now, while the helmet is fantasy focused, I think it's still a really nice piece for making Hollywood style Vikings. And you can always remove the horns to make it look a little bit more historically accurate. This is simply a great fig, so I'm gonna put her in B tier. To close out Series 7, we have the Evil Knight. This guy is kind of the black sheep of LEGO Castle CMF factions. While the Ravens and Bear Knights have both been adopted as basically full-on castle factions at this point, the Evil Knight never really caught on. I think a big part of that is because of how old this figure is and the limited availability of him. But as a single figure, I think he looks really sweet with the basic silver detailing on black parts. He is a very monochromatic looking knight, but I think it works in his favor, and the little highlights of red in his shield and eyes make him stand out nicely. This is yet another CMF knight that I really need to add to my collection already, so I'm going to put him in B tier. Now we're moving into Series 8 with the Conquistador. This is a fig that I personally own, and I am a huge fan of the individual prints on him. I've used his parts for a bunch of custom figures over the years on this channel, and I think he's one of the most underrated CMFs of all time. These legs are so useful for making custom knights, and his breastplate piece was way ahead of its time. So I think this guy's gotta go in A tier. Next up, we've got another 4 figs to rank in Series 9, starting first with a Cyclops. Elephant in the room, this custom headpiece that they made for him is perfect. I love how this looks. The detailing on it is subtle, but I think it works wonderful for him, and I would love to see LEGO bring this mold back for future sets. The torso and legs are also very plain looking, but work great for this character, and they're super useful for making custom orcs, which I of course love. The olive skin makes him interchangeable with the Series 24 orc that we'll be looking at a little later in this video. And one final detail that I'm a big fan of is the Cyclops skull on his belt. It's such a clever little design choice that I adore. I think this is an underrated fig for Castle fans, as I never see people talk about this figure, and he's fairly affordable on the aftermarket, so he's gotta go into A tier for me. Next, we've got an all-time classic CMF, the Heroic Knight. This is a very popular figure in the Castle community, and I think it's pretty easy to see why. He's got this beautifully intricate set of armor and a unique take on the Crown Knight sigil with his shield, but I think he's not nearly as good as people say he is. Look, I love the printing on his breastplate. I ordered one of them a while ago because it's easily one of the best prints to ever come out for fans of Castle. That being said, the rest of the fig is kind of underwhelming. Again, I love the shield, but it's all gray. It's not exactly what I want out of a CMF knight. It's pretty boring. And the legs, I mean, I get what they were going for with it, but they just look kind of muddy. There's too many like black lines close together, and the design feels cramped. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel about it. Now, even after saying all of that, I still like this fig a lot. He looks great on his own, and it goes without saying that his pieces are so useful, but he's just not really my style, so I'm gonna put him in B tier. Next, we've got the Roman Emperor. Now again, I'm not the target audience for this fig, but I can't lie, it's got some great parts. The hair crown piece is great, and the printing all along the figure, even down to the included tile, is top notch for 2013. But for me, this guy is just not something that I need or want in my collection, so I'll put him in D tier. Closing out Series 9, we have the Forest Maiden. This is probably my favorite Castle fig of the series. She's got an incredible shield design that I would love to make a custom faction based around. Unfortunately, she is also the most expensive fig from Series 9, so it's kind of hard to army build. As for the torso and legs, the printing's not too complex, but I think it works great for her, and honestly, I could see LEGO re-releasing this figure today, and it would fit in with all of the new peasant torsos. To be honest though, I think the best part of this figure is the hairpiece. It's a great mold that we don't really have an alternative for nowadays. It also showed up in a Princess Leia figure, I'm pretty sure, but sadly it hasn't been seen since. She's a great fig that goes really nicely with the Series 3 elf, so I'll place her in A tier. Next, we're entering Series 10 with Medusa. This is an incredible looking CMF, but she kinda has limited application for fans of LEGO Castle when it comes to customizing. I think the main thing that you could use her parts for are for making custom troll women by mixing her head and torso with parts from the fantasy era trolls. The skin colors are both sand greens, so I think it would actually look really cool, but as much as I like this fig, I think she should go in C tier. Next up, we've got a Roman commander. Sorry, I just don't like any of these parts. The torso feels like a MCU Marvel costume, and again, I'm just not a fan of the Roman stuff, so this figure just falls flat for me. I'd be curious to hear what the Roman Empire freaks think of this fig, because I can't tell if this is something you all would be into. I don't know if it's like historically inaccurate or something, I just don't like this figure very much. It feels very Hollywood to me. For me, he's going into F tier. And the last figure of Series 10 is this warrior woman. Similar to the Roman commander, I'm just not a fan of this fig. I think the legs are decent, but the rest of the figure feels again like a superhero costume. It's not something that I want for my castle figs, so she'll join him in F tier. Next, we've got this barbarian from Series 11. I really like this one. Every single print here looks great from the face to the legs, and it's even got arm printing, which was extremely rare back in 2013 when this first released. This is a simple fig, but I think he deserves to go into B tier. Moving into Series 11 now, we have a wizard. This guy's very whimsical looking with the moon and stars printed on him, and he's fairly unique when you compare him to other LEGO wizards, but he just isn't really my cup of tea, so I'm going to put him in C tier. Next is the Hun warrior. LEGO rarely makes historical minifigs, especially ones outside of Western Europe, so this one I think is pretty special. The helmet mold is nearly perfect for the Huns, but I do wish there was a version without the horns, as it's a little goofy looking. You can remove them, but then you've got giant holes on the side of his head, which is less than ideal. Overall, I'm a big fan of this figure. I adore the style of cape that's exclusive to him. It's yet another fig that I've had on my Bricklink wishlist for years now, so I'll put him in B tier. Next, we've got this fairy tale princess that fits right in with the whimsical wizard that we just looked at. The printing is decent, but similar to the wizard, she just doesn't really have the vibe of LEGO Castle to me, so I'll put her in D tier. Next up is the Battle Goddess. This fig feels very similar to the warrior woman from Series 10. I will say this one has more going for it with a unique hairpiece and better printing, but still, this is just not something that I care for, so I'll put her in D tier. Our last figure of Series 12 is the Jester. LEGO's made a few Jesters over the years, but this one's my favorite. The combination of bright light orange and dark purple looks terrific together, and the 2 playing cards included with the fig are nice to get. If I had to complain about this figure, I think he probably should have had some back printing, as there's nothing on the figure to cover it up. For me, he's going to go in B tier. We're now into Series 13 with the Classic King. This is by far one of the best CMFs for Castle fans simply because of the crown hair mold. People love this figure basically just for that piece alone. It's a perfect replacement for older crown pieces that LEGO used to make, and this mold just came back for the first time in a while. Surprisingly, this fig was the only time that we ever got the beard piece in brown. LEGO really needs to recolor it again because I am sick of getting ginger beards in every set. Anyways, the actual figure, I love the fur collar that came on him and the very classic castle looking color scheme that he's wearing. This is a fantastic looking figure and he's gonna join the S tier. Next up we have a goblin. Now, I'm fairly biased towards this fig as I just really like orcs and goblins a lot, but I mean I think no matter who you are, this is just a really good looking CMF. The dirty rags that he's wearing looks great, and the patchwork that he's got all over from the hat to the shorts, it's just a really fun looking fig. And it goes without saying that these parts would work so well for making custom orcs. I really like this fig, so I'm going to be putting him in, I think, A tier. Next, we have the Evil Wizard. In all honesty, I have never been a fan of this figure. He's just a bit much. The flames on his capes and robe just feel like overkill. I get why people like this figure, but he's just not for me, so I'm going to put him in D tier. Next is the Lady Cyclops. This fig is a little perplexing to me. Like, hear me out. She has sand blue skin, while the male Cyclops has olive skin. Now look at the color of each of their outfits. I might be reading into the lore of LEGO CMFs here, but are they wearing each other's skin? I don't know, but as far as the fig goes, I wish she went better with the original Cyclops from Series 9, but what are you gonna do? I'll put her in D tier. Next up, we're moving into Series 15 with none other than the Bear Knight. This figure marks a huge change in Castle CMFs. Before him, most Castle-themed collectible minifigures were seen as one-off characters that you can add to your collection. But with the Bear Knight, people really got interested in army building them as their own faction. The unique shield design and overall gorgeous level of detailing on the torso and legs made this figure one of the best knights that you could buy, full stop. It also came with a brand new mace piece and a recolor of the spiked shoulder armor in pearl dark gray. All around, this figure is everything that we want out of a LEGO Knight, and for that, he is obviously going into S tier. Now on the other hand of the spectrum, we have the Flying Warrior. This figure looks horrible. F tier, I don't even want to waste another breath on him. I hate this fig. Thankfully, we have two more really good castle figs from Series 15. The Fawn is beautiful. I love the way they made his legs and the unique hairpiece as well. This is just such a good fig. It's a great piece for making custom characters as well, and I really need to add one of these guys to my collection already. I'm gonna put him in B tier. Next up, we have the Queen. She goes so well with the King from Series 13, and honestly, I think I actually prefer the printing and overall design of her over the King. The colors are nicer, and she feels a bit more inspired than the King, who takes a little bit too much inspiration from Classic Castle. So I'm gonna put her up there with the King in S tier. Next, we've got a couple of duds from Series 16. I really liked what they were going for with the Ice Queen, but she just looks a bit off. The design looks really good until you get to the skirt, where it kind of looks like she's just got like a mountain on her skirt. I don't know. I think if you added a different white skirt to this figure, it could look a lot better, but as is, she just isn't my favorite, so I'm gonna put her in C tier. Now this might be a controversial take, but the Rogue is one of my least favorite castle figures of all time. He looks like he's wearing a 2010s fantasy like B-movie costume, like Chris Hemsworth style. The wolf brooch and the hood piece are just so corny looking. It looks like he's trying so hard to look cool. It reminds me of young adult novel like 2010 Sludge. I really don't know how to properly explain why I hate this figure so much. He just makes me feel like a bit sad, I don't know. Objectively, his prints are high quality, but I just can't enjoy any part of this. It's terrible. I'm sorry to fans of this figure because I know there's a lot of them. He's going into F tier. I can't with this fig, it's so ugly. Thankfully, Series 16 is saved by having the Desert Warrior. He's not the best CMF ever, but I do like the newer turban piece, and the design of the torso and legs is really nice with those dual molded legs. So I think I'm going to put him in B tier. Series 17 starts off, I'd say, kinda weak with this Roman gladiator. The torso and legs are useful for making custom barbarians, but I think he's just a tad too boring for my taste. Getting arm printing is nice though, and the dual molded legs were the right choice for this figure. He's fine, but plain, so I'm gonna put him in C tier. When it comes to shirtless figures, I think the Battle Dwarf does it so much better. The tattooed serpent that goes from his arm to his chest is gorgeous, and he even has dual molded arms to give him that like cool gauntlet look. I also appreciate the fact that they put the boar's head on his belt and on his hammer. I love that synergy of design there. This is a fig that I've used a ton for making customs. You probably recognize some of these parts if you've seen my videos before, and I think this guy should definitely go into the S tier. Next is the Elf Maiden. This is by far one of LEGO's best elves that they have ever made outside of Lord of the Rings. The sand blue dress is gorgeous with all the subtle silver detailing on it, and again, those dual molded arms make a huge difference on figs like this one. She has such an elegant vibe fitting for an elf, and the hairpiece that they made for her is stunning. I also love that they continued the floral design from her shield onto the back of her hair. They also gave her such a fitting face print with the snatched cheekbones and the big lashes. This is an amazing fig that I think would be really fun to build a custom faction around, so I'm gonna put her in S tier. Moving into Series 18, we have a couple of costumed figs that I think work decently well for castle fans. This dragon suit guy can easily be turned into a Dragonborn character just by swapping out his head for a black one. And the unicorn guy has a highly underrated shield design that I've been wanting to make a custom faction around for years at this point. Granted, both of these figs aren't that versatile for medieval stuff, so I'll put them both in D tier. In Series 19, we have just one fig to look at, but he's one of my favorites. This is the Fright Knight Ghost. In my opinion, he rivals the Series 15 Bear Knight in having some of the best medieval prints to ever release. I'm not even being hyperbolic here, the chainmail print under this guy's armor is so useful. I've used it a ton of times for making custom knights, and the same is true for these legs. They're maybe the most versatile set of pieces that LEGO has ever made for castle fans. And as a figure on his own, he is still very, very good. His spooky looking face under the helmet is incredible, and I love all of those trans blue ghostly accessories that he uses. He also brought back the shield design from the Bear Knight with a beautiful reimagining of the classic Fright Knight sigil. I love all the scuff marks on it, and I think LEGO should think about bringing this design back if they ever decide to make more Fright Knight minifigures. It's safe to say he will be joining the Bear Knight in S tier. And it looks like we've finally made it to Series 20, where my favorite knight and the mascot of this channel comes from. The Tournament Knight is everything that I want out of a LEGO knight. His very simple black and yellow tabard looks so good, and it's so much closer to what medieval knights actually wore than 99% of other LEGO Castle figs. I love the quarter design that he has, and the chainmail coif that's hanging over his tabard just looks so good. The fact that they also gave him dark red accents in his gloves, belt, and feather makes this fig one of the prettiest of all time. I'll admit bias here, as the color that LEGO used, bright light orange, is pretty close to my favorite color, marigold. Even if you're not a fan of this figure, or its color scheme, it's hard to deny why this fig is so popular in the community. He's going into S tier. Next up, we have this Viking, also from Series 20. LEGO up until this point had never tried to make any historically accurate Vikings, so when this guy released, people were so over the moon about it. It brought us a brand new helmet and a bunch of beautiful prints all across the board. Both him and the Tournament Knight are disgustingly expensive, due in part to them releasing in 2020, but I think they're worth it to at least have one of each. So he's also going into S tier. Next up is Series 21 with the Centaur Warrior. She has such a nice forest creature vibe to her with the torso design and the vambraces, but if I'm being honest, I just don't really like this fig all that much, so I'll put her in C tier. Series 22 gave us a few more figs, starting with the Troubadour. As you can see from this video, LEGO is pretty stingy when it comes to non-warrior medieval CMFs. So when this guy came out in 2022, I was jazzed. It came with these brand new gold coins and this loot that are both still coming out in sets today. I love this fig a ton, and I've used his parts for customs so many times in other videos. He's not quite S tier worthy to me, but he absolutely belongs in A. Next we have the Snow Guardian. This is the only castle fig that I didn't buy when this series was out, and I don't really regret skipping him. The hat is nice and all, but he's just kind of forgettable, so I'm going to put him in C tier. The Knight Protector, on the other hand, is probably tied for my favorite castle fig of Series 22. I love all the moon motifs used on her shield and belts, and the scale design on her legs looks amazing. I don't see many people talk about this figure online, which isn't too surprising as she's not a traditional looking castle fig, but again, I just like the overall vibe. This is a very underrated fig in my opinion, so I'm going to put her in A tier with the Troubadour. And finally, this Forest Elf rounds off Series 22. And as cute as this little dude is, I just don't need him in my collection. There's so many other figs that I've got on my radar, so I'll put him in D tier. Series 23 was a costume series, but we've got a few here to look at. Most importantly is the Knight of the Yellow Castle. This fig is of course paying homage to the first ever castle faction, and as cool as that is, the figure is just way too plain to fit in with other castle faction remakes. So sadly, I think I've got to put them in D tier. The printing is just too basic. Next we have this dragon costume, which is just another recolor of the previous red one, so I'll put her in D tier as well. Moving into Series 24, we have some really stellar figs. The Falconer here brought a new alternate outfit for the Black Falcons and a new Falcon pet that I have way too many of sitting in a bin. All things considered, this is a pretty basic looking fig, but it was a great way to spice up your Black Falcon army when she came out, so I'll put her in A tier. Everybody, the Orc is here. I love this figure so much. One of my biggest LEGO regrets is not buying more of this guy when he was on shelves. Growing up, I was obsessed with the fantasy era trolls, so I was so excited to see them remake my favorite childhood castle faction. The olive green skin was the perfect way to update them, and the rubber jaw piece makes them some of the most unique looking minifigs, full stop. I've customized these guys probably more than any other faction, even the Raven Knights, and I hope to see LEGO make some more of them at some point. This is maybe the easiest S tier of the whole video. Such a beautiful CMF, and I miss having these guys in stores. Series 25 was another great series that brought back Basil the Batlord for the first time since the 90s. This figure brought life back to the Fright Knights after they spent over 20 years as basically the laughingstock of the theme. The highlight for me here is the winged helmet that had such a sleek look compared to Basil's original helmet. It is such a great upgraded version of that minifigure. I love how this guy looks. Dual molded legs, arm printing, and a printed dual-sided cape. I mean, Basil got basically one of the best remakes you could ask for. It would be insane to put him anywhere other than S tier. Next is the Goat Herder. In retrospect, he feels kind of boring, I guess. When the series first leaked, everyone was rightfully freaking out over this figure, and honestly, almost 2 years later at this point, I think he looks fine, but we all overhyped this guy. The goat coming back was fun, but let's be real, this figure is just okay, so I'm gonna put him in B tier. The mushroom sprite is a cute fig similar to the forest elf that we just looked at, but again, I just don't need to have this figure in my collection, so D tier it is. Okay, next up is the harpy. This figure is very loud. I don't like it much, and to be honest with you, I kind of forgot it was even a part of this series. So for that, I think I have to put it in F tier. Next is the fierce barbarian, and she is such a terrific figure. The prints here are all so useful for making customs, and it also gave us this recolor of the LEGO Dream Sword in more medieval appropriate colors. I feel like people see this torso as being too feminine, which I don't really agree with. I've used it for a ton of different characters, and I don't think it looks weird on male figs at all. Again, this is a classic versatile CMF like the Fright Night Ghost, and I am so glad I picked up a few of these while they were still on shelves. So I think she's gotta go in A tier for me. Finally, we have Series 27 and the long-awaited Wolfpack Beastmaster. Ignoring the circus that ensued when this guy released, this is one of the all-time best castle figs. The chainmail arms and legs are the best that we've ever gotten, and they're a great way to upgrade older torsos by adding these new parts to them. And I mean, this guy just looks like a Wolfpack Marauder. The face print is perfect for them, and he's even got a howling alternate expression. This is a fantastic, beautiful figure. S tier all day for him. I was originally going to include all of the D&D figures in this list, but for the sake of time and keeping it to non-licensed figs only, I think we'll end it here. Let me know how wrong all of my rankings are in the comments, and a big thank you goes out to my channel members, Gyojo, Faisal, Rio Bricks, Wachtermeister, Sam, Ryzen Covers, The True Emperor, and all of my other members for supporting the channel. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can find more information in the description down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.